The lady who owned the bun shop took pity on me and offered me a big bun to eat. To thank her, I offered to read her fortune. Unexpectedly, I discovered that her daughter was in imminent danger. Hearing that something might happen to her daughter, the lady couldn't sit still. She stood up abruptly. "You're talking nonsense." An old man nearby was startled by the lady and hurriedly tried to comfort her. "Don't listen to him, sister. He's just trying to scare you." The lady calmed down and sat back down. "Young man, what about my daughter? How can we avoid it? Tell me her birth date and time." The lady quickly recited a string of numbers. After calculating, I said, "Your daughter's current boyfriend is her misfortune. He's a bad person, plotting against her." The lady breathed a sigh of relief. Since her daughter didn't have a boyfriend, it seemed the young man might have just gotten lucky, hitting on a point by chance. "Young man, my daughter doesn't have a boyfriend. I told you he's a fraud." The old man straightened his back, looking somewhat smug. "My reading is never wrong. Maybe she didn't tell you." The old man's posture slumped again. "Sister, that could be possible. Why don't you call her and ask?" The lady thought for a moment, realizing it wasn't out of the question. Perhaps the girl had kept it from her. So she took out her phone and dialed her daughter's number. The phone rang twice, and her daughter, Chen, quickly picked up. "Mom, why are you calling at this time? Is something wrong?" The lady put the call on speaker. "Nothing's wrong, I just missed you." "But is there something you're hiding from me? What are you saying?" "What could I possibly be hiding from you?" Her daughter's voice sounded a bit shaky. "Calling me at this time. Is the shop not busy? Don't change the subject. Tell me honestly, have you got a boyfriend?" Chen's heart skipped a beat. It shouldn't be possible. There were no acquaintances of her mother around her, so no one could have informed her. "Who told you that?" "Don't worry about who said it." Chen hesitated briefly, but decided to tell the truth. "We've only been dating for a few days, so I hadn't told you yet." The lady scolded. "You silly girl. So you really do have a boyfriend. If it weren't for the fortune teller today, how much longer were you planning to keep this from me?" Hearing about a fortune teller, Chen immediately frowned, worried that her mother was being scammed. She couldn't help but warn her. "What fortune teller? Don't let yourself be fooled. There are so many con artists nowadays. They come up with all sorts of tricks. Don't believe them." Hearing this, I felt a bit helpless. So to prove myself, I said, "Your boyfriend is 3 years older than you. He has a cousin who has a 1-year-old son." Chen was stunned. "Who are you? How do you know all this?" I continued. "That cousin is currently living with your boyfriend." Chen was even more shocked. Knowing she had a boyfriend could be something a colleague might have overheard or seen. But the fact that her boyfriend was living with his cousin was known only to the 3 of them. There was no way an outsider could know. She threatened. "Spill it. Who told you this? What do you want? If you dare to scam my mom out of money, I'll call the police." After a pause, she suddenly asked, "You must be rich, right?" Chen sneered. "Showing your true colors now, huh? Finally talking about money. And you say you're not a scammer. So what if I'm rich? You won't get a penny from me." Ignoring her attitude, I continued, "Your boyfriend is with you for your money." Chen, of course, didn't believe it. "Nonsense." I continued. "His cousin isn't really his cousin. She's actually his wife. They've been married for a while. The child is theirs." "Oh, wait. They aren't technically married now. They got a fake divorce to scam you out of your money." "What?" Everyone was shocked. Chen exclaimed, "That's impossible. Absolutely impossible. My boyfriend treats me very well. He always responds to my needs and is very attentive. We've always been sweet and loving. How could he be scamming me? And his cousin is so quiet and gentle. Every time I go to see him, his cousin always takes the child and leaves, often avoiding us voluntarily. There doesn't seem to be any problem. I continued. They don't actually have any feelings for each other. They just have mutual interests. So they hide it well. Their goal is to scam you out of your money. In the next couple of days, your boyfriend will bring up a project investment. He won't directly ask for money, but he will guide you to offer it yourself. Your boyfriend is really not a good person. From the very beginning, his approach to you was planned. His plan is to swindle as much money from you as possible before marriage. If things go smoothly, he'll marry you next year. As for the wedding expenses, he'll find various excuses to avoid paying a single cent, leaving you to cover all costs. Even after marriage, you'll be the one paying for living expenses. Once he's drained all your money, he'll take out a huge insurance policy on you, then orchestrate an accident to claim the insurance payout. My words left the lady and the old man stunned, and Chen on the other end of the line was horrified. Her boyfriend had indeed mentioned wanting to partner with a friend for an investment a couple of days ago, but she had been too busy to pay much attention, and he hadn't pressed the issue. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a long time. The lady was getting anxious. Daughter, it's not too late for us to find out now. Break up with that scoundrel immediately. You mustn't fall into his trap. Break up with him now. Alright, Mom, don't worry. I know what to do now. Chen hurriedly hung up the phone. My words had caused a storm in her heart that couldn't be calmed for a long time. After hanging up, the lady was extremely excited. She grabbed my hand and kept thanking me. Young man, thank you so much for your reminder today. Otherwise, my daughter would have really fallen for that scoundrel's trap. Thankfully, we found out early. She got up, went to the counter, and took out 500 yuan. Young master, this is a small token of my appreciation from me to you. You must accept it. I'm very grateful for your help with my daughter. I took the red notes and happily put them in my pocket. Sowing good seeds reaps good fruit. If you hadn't offered me a bun, none of this would have happened. Everything is karma. Saying this, I tilted my head and looked at the old man. You lost, sir. The old man's expression had changed from disbelief to admiration. I admit defeat. I'll pay for the buns. Young master, can you also read my fortune? Turning down money is for fools. So I quickly nodded. One reading is 500 yuan. Hearing this, the old man cheerfully handed me 500 yuan. I happily accepted the money and seriously looked at the old man, judging by his face. His eyes were bright with clear whites and blacks, and his philtrum was long and deep, a sign of good fortune. He would live a life without worrying, surrounded by children and grandchildren, and wouldn't face any major disasters. No major disasters? What about minor ones? I took another look at him. There are minor ones, but they're insignificant, not worth mentioning. The old man became anxious upon hearing this. Even small matters are matters. Tell me, what are they? And how small?